get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
Welcome everyone to the show. I'm not sure what's going on with my system. Shalom here and the lights went out. So bear with me. But welcome to the show. This is a place where you find new talent and new faces upcoming. I share live on the show all the time. What's up, everyone? If anyone here, let me know if you guys can hear me. Something wrong with my system. I'm not sure what's going on with my system. I apologize, but like I said earlier, the lights went out for about an hour or two, and now my system is acting up. So let's see what happens. But welcome everyone to the show. It's been a while since I've been up here. Brought a guest up. I do have a guest coming on by the name of Dempsey Gibson. He is a director. Loves to write about horror and psychological thrillers. Hopefully I can get him on the show. I've been sending him thanks. I don't know if he's scared. I don't know if it's because of my system that's acting up or what. But let's just hope that he got the links and he can come on the show. If anybody comes on here, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me clearly. So just want to thank everyone that supports the show. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Big shout out to my TikTok fans that follow me, support me as well. Instagram, Facebook, you already know the vibe. You guys, everything. And YouTube, appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out what I got going on as far as, directors and the type of guests that I have on my show. I appreciate that. So, it's been a while since I've been up here, feel kind of rusty. Yeah, I feel kind of rusty. What's up, IG? What's up? Thank you for letting in. IG used to co-host with me here on the Don Vic Show. Great guy, good friend of mine. Like my brother, So big shout out to him and his family. Today I'm supposed to be having a guest, like I said, Dempsey Gibson, which is a director and co-writer of the film Spaghetti. And he is a horror and psychological thriller writer. So I'm hoping that I can get him on the show. We can talk to him and find out exactly what he got going on now at this prior day. Also want to thank Nicole Vegas for connecting us. Nicole's always been a good friend to me, a good sister to me, and a good friend. She's one of my best friends as far as females, and she's always kept it loyal. Also, big shout out to Sean C. Phillips as well. Desert Fiends is out now on Amazon. You guys can purchase it and check out the film. Also, um, Fiends 2 is also in the process of, um, Nicole putting it together along other films that she's putting together with other people. Folks. So, people working out here. Yeah, the rain is definitely messing up the service. Here I was trying to get on a few minutes ago, kept shutting me down. Um, so I'm hoping that Nipsey got my text. I'm having problems right now, even clicking on you guys's. Um, it's not letting you in. Yes. What's up, P. Garci? My man P. Garci. What's up? What's up? Music artist. I'm trying to get you the link now. Let's see. I've been having problem because of the rain here. I lost my connections about an hour ago. The lights went out, so I'm not actually sure if that's the problem. I'm thinking that is the problem, but I'm gonna send you another link. Um, Give me a second, and I'll shoot you another link. See if it lets you come up. Give me 1 second. Let me send it to you again, and hopefully you get it. The system kind of moving slow. I think it's the rain, uh, because it's taking a while to load. Usually my system loads right away, and I have no issues with it. But now it's like slowing down, and it's taking time for me to even get on my Facebook page. So it's definitely the rain messing up the system. So I apologize for that. If this keeps going on, we reschedule for another day. I want to make sure that um, Dempsey get his fair chance to come on here and tell the story and what he got going on, as far as filming, directing, and stuff like that. Um, you guys can see that things freezing over here. Um, so bear with me. You know, this hasn't happened to me in a long, long time. And of course, now that I got a phenomenal person coming on the show, this is crazy. You know, if it ain't one thing, it's another thing. You know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, folks. Let me see. Um, where is he? Hmm. Okay. Oh, wait. Why is it doing this? I have. Okay. Messages and calls are secured. It's telling me on Dempsey's page. It's telling me that on all the pages. Why is it doing that? Give me a sec. So it's definitely hi Susan. Um so it's okay, you still working word. What's up, Susan? Thank you for logging in. So obviously I'm having problems connecting to Mr. Dempsey. It's not letting him in the show. Um am having issues with this program. It's not letting me get to him. Let me retry it. I apologize for this, guys. As you know, this don't ever really happen to me. My system is moving slow, so it's definitely the rain. Um, so my apologies to that. And it's asking me like for a pin. That never happened either. Like, why would I need a pin to get in my own system when it's already, you know? Yeah, it's asking me for a pin. Why? Yeah, my system is freezing up. So my system is definitely freezing up, and I truly apologize for that. I can't even get um, to send out the link to Dempsey. I sent him two links earlier. It went through. Um, Dempsey, do you got the links on your page on your messenger? Did I send them to you? Did you actually get them? Uh, because it's I know I sent them to you. I seen them on your messenger, but now it's showing that it's not. So it's definitely a problem with the system. So, and again, I truly apologize. You guys know this don't happen to me. I'm usually on and popping. Uh, so, can you guys even hear me? Can you guys even hear me? Anyone? I want to make sure my system is working. Um, Shout out to Denise, also Denise Pounds, which is my partner. I was talking about that earlier today on one of my lives. She's also a writer, phenomenal writer. My partner, she's amazing, and yeah, we're working on projects as well. Uh, so, man, I really want to get this over to Dempsey. Um, but anyway, Dempsey is a like I said earlier, horror and psychological thriller writer. Um, he's a co-writer of the film Spaghetti, which launched out in 2023. It's been in 30 plus film festivals, and a comedy series called Enhanced Problems was his first uh, success story. Um, when him arriving to LA, 8 months of his arrival to LA, um, this film was successfully working for him. Um, and that was on June 2021. Yeah, after his arrival in LA. Um, so among other things that he's done, which I don't really want to talk about because I want him to talk about. I just have done some research, but I don't want to tell. I don't want to say everything. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can get you it. I rather, I would love to have you here on the live, but let's see how this works. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm calling Nipsey now. Of course, my phone is low on battery because I couldn't charge it.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Nipsey?
Hey, man. Sorry about that. I was trying to get in touch with you, but it won't let me in.
Really?
Yeah, the link will not pull up. It'll say, you're heading into the studio, and then it says, it gives me a 404 code and says nobody's there.
Really? That's
Yeah.
It should once you hit the link that I sent you, it should bring you like to the studio.
Right.
And it's
It did do that.
okay,
Yeah.
and then it tells you might have to write a name or you turn on your camera and your microphone.
No, it doesn't do that at all. It just goes right to this 404 message.
That's weird.
And it just cuts out.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to look into that.
It says, "Whoops, there's nothing here." 404.
Wow.
And then it says, "Go to home page." I've done it. I've been doing it for 15 minutes now.
Really?
It still does the same thing. Yeah.
Hold on, let me see something. Let me try something different. Because sometimes, yeah, it's definitely my system. It's not even your fault. It's my system. It's slow, and we have rain over here,
Mm-hmm.
and the lights went out for a while.
Okay.
So that might be a reason why everything is it's out of play. Yeah.
Right. Could be.
Yeah.
Well, can you put me on live over your phone? Like maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we're live now.
Oh, you are live. Okay.
Yeah, we are live. Can you see the show on your platform?
No, because I'm on the phone with you now.
Okay.
So I don't. I can't see it, but I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. So, so you're a director. You're out of LA.
Mm-hmm.
Where was you there? Where was you prior to get into LA?
I was in a small town in North Carolina called Kannapolis.
Okay.
And Kannapolis is about 36,000 people. It's right out of Mayberry, man. It's Barney and Andy and Aunt B. That's Kannapolis, North Carolina. It's a very cool place to grow up. It's a friendly little town, but it's very small. It's very small.
Okay.
So that's where I was, and I was taking care of my mom. Before I started writing, I was a professional musician and a singer in different bands in North Carolina. And in 2011, my mom got diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Right.
Yeah. So in 2014, she could no longer take care of herself. She needed help.
Right.
And I did not want to put her in a home.
Yeah.
So I was lucky. I was really blessed. I was able to give up, what I was doing and take care of her and keep her in the home, keep her in the family home.
Wow, good man.
So I took care of her. I appreciate that, bro. I took care of her from 2014 until she passed away in 2018.
Ooh,
4 years. And it was like having a kid. It was like having a child, because she was totally dependent on me for everything.
Yeah, I lost my mom to that too, so I know what you're talking about.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, then you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
And excuse me. So during that time, you're kind of locked down. You have to you have to be there and take care of them. You can't really go out. You can't go to the gym. You can't go to a movie,
Anything.
whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You have to, and then you have to make plans. If you do, you have to get a sitter, and then you have to trust that sitter, and
it's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of, it's a whole lot of stuff to go with that, and people that don't know about it, man. It's a very, very difficult. It could make you or break you, because you got to stop everything that you're doing to take care of your mom or your pops. It's a very, very stressful thing for a person that's active like yourself to put everything on a hold to take care of your parents, and that's very important. And I just want to say I'm proud of you, bro.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. I went into it kicking and screaming because I'm single. I've been single all my life. I come and go as I please, do what I want. But a week into it, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I mean, what am I really giving up? Being able to go get a hamburger at 2 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm gonna do. And from that point on, it was great.
Yes.
Taking care of her. It was a blessing. I mean, I'm sad that you went through that, but it was a blessing for me, and it grew me up.
Yes.
Because I had to take care of her. I had to take care of my mom, and she had taken care of me for, so many years, and it was just fair.
Yes, more than fair. Exactly. I was about to say that. She stood up for you, and it was your time to stick up for her, and you did. So that's awesome.
Exactly, man. So during that time, I started writing. I wrote my first television show because I couldn't really go anywhere. Right. So I started writing. And I wrote my first television show called The Dearly Departed.
Right.
And it's basically it's a comedy, sort of like a male version of Sex in the City. And we had a premiere of it at a small theater in Kannapolis called the Gym Theater.
Right.
And my mom was able to go and see that, and that was a really proud moment for me. Because that theater I had grown up in. I'd been a little kid, and she would take me to see, movies when I was a kid there.
Right.
And now she got to sit and see something that I wrote and produced, and it was pretty moving. It was pretty moving. But during that time also, that's when I started really writing in earnest. And I came up with 4 or 5 different television shows, created them and wrote them, the pilot episodes. And then I wrote a couple of film scripts. So when my mom passed away in 2018, it took me a little time to recoup, from that. And by the end of 2019, I had decided to just go ahead and make that move, to LA. And so I put some money into the house, got it nice, to sell it for as much as I could. My cousins helped me out with that a lot. My cousin Clement and his wife Delois, she's a real estate agent, so she came over and helped me out. And my cousin Clement and June, they helped me, refurbish the place.
Big shout out to them. Big shout out to them.
Yeah. Family's family, man. It's everything.
That's right.
And so I got the house sold, and I put everything on the line. I didn't know anybody in LA.
Right.
Everybody thought I was crazy. Like, are you insane, man? Your house is paid for, your car's paid for, and you move into LA, you don't know anybody. And I just packed up, and I felt like it was time. And I came out here during COVID, which most people thought was even crazier.
Right.
But I looked at it as an opportunity. I looked at it like, if I go out now, people in this business that normally wouldn't have the time to read my stuff might actually have the time to read it.
Correct.
And that's exactly what happened.
Amen.
I sent my first comedy to a studio out here in LA. Inherent Problems was the name of it. And they liked it. Lady named Darcy Donovan. She's the head of that company, Real Vision, and she liked it, and she optioned it, and that started me off. And And that was like 6-7 months after I got to LA.
Yeah.
Which everybody thought that was crazy too, but it happened, you know. And from there, things just blossomed. You know, just kind of snowballed.
I think that doing what you did for your mother made you blossom and shine. You know, I think that was a big test for you with God. You know, let's see what he's going to do. And depending on what he does, I'm going to bless him or not.
Right.
You know, and you did the right thing. You know, you took care of your mom. You put everything that was, you thought that was important to you at the time, you put that away to take care of your mom. And God saw that and said, you know what? This is a good man. His family first. I'm gonna bless him. And you know, you took that big chance. You went there and you blossomed. So, you know, to me, those are miracles. You know that happens in our lives, and I just truly think that she had to do a big. You know, she was a big piece of your success.
Oh, I know it for a fact, man. Let me tell you, when after the show got optioned, I'm a huge fan of the 1960s band, the Monkees. You know the Monkees?
Yeah,
Hey, hey, with
yes,
the Monkees?
yeah.
I'm a huge fan of those guys. And I want to do a Monkees movie, sort of like Bohemian Rhapsody did for Queen. You know that movie?
Yeah.
I want to do something like that for the Monkees, right? So I put together a trailer and I came up with an outline. And I know one of the people that are close to Mickey Dolenz, the lead singer and the drummer in the Monkees.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in touch with her, Jody Ritson. I got in touch with her, and she got me a meeting with Mickey Dolenz.
Oh, awesome.
This was about 6 months after Inherent Problems got optioned. So within a year, all this stuff happened, right? And so I'm on a conference call with Mickey Dolenz. We're talking, and everything's going really well. I pitched him the idea. He liked it. You know, it's a really good meeting. It's a very good first meeting. And this is the part that'll blow your mind. I was supposed to have that meeting a week prior to the date that I actually had it, but he had to reschedule because Mickey had a scheduling conflict, so he had to reschedule and push it back a week, right? So after I got off the phone, I'm flying high. I'm just like, oh, that was a great meeting, and I write, you know, some stuff down in my diary, and I look at the date, and the date is June 25th. And that was the date my mom died.
Oh man, I'm telling
June
you.
25th.
Hey, my hairs are growing and my eyes are watery because, dude, I'm very spiritual. You know what I mean? And I truly believe, in that. And you know, so what you're telling me, it's really touching because you know, my mom and my pop died. You know, and certain things happened in my life at the same time. You know, they passed away in the same date. So I know what you're talking about. And it's so true, you know, and people that don't believe in that just don't know how true that can be.
Right. Exactly. It let me know that I'm in the right place. I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. And I just looked up into heaven and I said, thank you, Mom.
Amen.
Because I know that was her.
Yeah, of course.
I know that was her letting me know that she's still here. And she's helping me.
Yes, she guided you there.
You know?
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Amen to that.
So I was just that really blew me away. And since then, man, I mean, the latest thing that I'm working on now is another dream come true. You know the singer Denise Williams. I'm sure you know her.
Denise Williams.
Let's hear it for the boy.
Yeah.
Suddenly, she Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. I did a documentary series called Love in Black and White, and I was talking to her manager, Kevin, and he liked that, and they signed up to do the documentary. Well, I'm also working on the screenplay as a tribute to Prince called Purple Rain.
Oh
R-E-I-G-N.
man, you kidding me right now?
Right. And I wrote it about 2 years ago with Craig Robinson in mind to star in it. And Kevin, I told him about it. Kevin liked the idea a lot. I got the script to Kevin. He read it, and he said his mom wanted to not only be in it, but she wanted to help produce it.
Wow, huh?
And get this, bro. Guess who she's best friends with?
Who?
Craig Robinson.
Oh no, oh no. Wow, what a cycle. Yeah.
Dude. So I mean, that's on the table now. That's in play. We're trying to get that together, and we're going to reach out to Morris Day and Sheila E. and Apollonia and see if we can get them involved, because they're all written in if they want the parts, you know.
Wow.
Sheila but it's a really, I mean, she's mega talented.
Yeah.
And I really want to get them all involved in this, because it's a loving tribute to Prince.
Man, this is that's going to be beautiful when you get that going, bro.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch that. I'm totally like, yo, hey, guess what? I know who put that together. Okay.
Right. You broke it first, man. You're the first one to break it live.
Yeah.
To get it out there.
Yeah. It's.
But
go ahead.
I just said we are in the process now putting all of it together. The script is done, and it's been sent to Craig, and Denise is in. She's already signed on. She's gonna make her acting debut in the movie, as well as producing it.
That's amazing. Yeah. So Suzanne Victoria says that's amazing, Dempsey. It's one.
Thank you.
One of my followers says that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is beyond like special here today, because the fact that what you just went through and what you went through, and knowing that you put all this together, and we know why it happened, and that's the special thing, the bond with you and your mom, and now you're at where you at today. What was your first thought when you got that call?
Which call? The
call
with call?
Yeah.
I told this to Denise and her son Kevin. Kevin was a really good guy too. That he's our manager, and he's a really, really good brother. He's a good guy. We were talking, and I said, you guys aren't going to believe this, but when I was a kid, there were 2 songs that I played over and over and over and over again. And my mom, I played them so much, my mom finally said, play anything else. Don't play those songs again for at least an hour. Play anything else.
Boy. That's crazy.
But the 2 songs were What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers, and Too Much, Too Little, Too Late by Denise Williams and Johnny Mathis.
Okay.
I used to play those things over and over and over again. And sometimes me and my mom would be in the car, and the song would come on the radio, and we would sing it, sing the chorus. Too much, too little, too late to ever try again. We'd just sing it and
awesome.
Kind of rock back and forth, Yeah. And so when I got the call from Kevin saying that his mom wanted to just read the script, it blew me away.
Yeah.
And then when I got the call about a week later, when she said she read it and she loved it and she wants to be in it and help me produce it, I almost passed out. I was just like, this is not happening. This is crazy, man. But it's happening.
Hey, Dempsey, when it's your time, it's your time, and no one can take that from you. I say it all the time here in my show. When God has something for you that's already written, and
right,
it's yours. It's there. You just got to take advantage and run with it.
Right. Right. That's the truth, man. And you know what else you got to do, man, is you got to hold on.
Yes.
Until that time comes, because we're talking about the good stuff, but I've been out here. It'll be 5 years in October, and it was not all good.
Right.
There were a lot of days when I was struggling. There were a lot of times when I was close to living in my car. If it hadn't been for a couple of friends and family members, I would have been living in my car. I couldn't find work. I couldn't get a job washing dishes.
Wow.
I was looking for anything, just to survive.
Yeah.
And I've had to, do a lot of things that I didn't think I could. I've lived in hostels. I've done whatever I can to scrape it together, to get it together, to make it happen.
Yeah.
And now it is starting to pay off. But I found out that, or I believe that all the struggles, they do make you stronger, but it's also the devil trying to break you down because he knows the blessing is coming.
Hey, and that's, I'm glad you said that, because it's kind of like where I'm at too. It's the faith, brother. It's trying to see where your faith is at, man. What you believe in. Are you really a God's child? Do you believe in faith? And believe in yourself and your work, man. And when you stick to it, man, through bad, and you keep pushing, man, eventually that door is gonna open.
That's the truth.
And I'm a true believer of struggle. Believe in your struggle. Believe in your, in your hard work. Because I think that we all have a time, right? We all got a blessing. And God works with so many people in this world that you got to sit back and you got to wait your turn. But while you're waiting your turn, you still got to keep pushing, because God's going to say, well, you started, I had to work with these other people, but why did you stop? You didn't believe in yourself, or you didn't believe that I was going to help you? So you showed me sign of weakness that you didn't believe in yourself. So that's the way I think. So that's why I say what I say, and I keep pushing, because I know that my time is gonna come too. I'm gonna be able to put my films out there. I'm gonna be able to show the world how talented me and my team are as far as writers. But I gotta wait my turn.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep pushing while you're waiting.
Exactly.
And there is a reason for the wait.
Yes.
Too, because with me, it opened my eyes up to a lot of the world that I had not seen before. I mean, I'd heard about homelessness, but I never really experienced it until I got here, and I was walking around the block and seeing people literally laying on the streets.
So sad.
And one of my passions now is to start a foundation in my mother's name. I don't even want it in my name.
Right.
I want it in her name, because she struggled. And I mean, the last part of her life was great.
Yeah.
But there was a 3 or 4 year period where she really, really struggled hard to bring 2 kids up on a teacher's salary. By herself.
Right.
And so I want to do something in her name, because she was such a good person. But I want to establish these things and to help people. These foundations to help her, to help single parents, or to help homeless people get off the street. I want to partner up with people like Bon Jovi.
Yes.
That he's doing the soup kitchen thing, the restaurant thing. He's doing that now. I want to partner up with him and just roll it out, because I truly believe in this country there should never be anybody homeless.
No, I agree.
There should never be anybody that goes to sleep on the street or hungry in this country. Because we have so much.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just a matter of allocating it to the right place. And so for me, when I was a kid, it was about money and fame and women. Fast life and all that kind of stuff. And now, we all want to be well off. We all want to be
Yeah.
comfortable. We all want a nice house, nice car.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I want that.
Right.
But I also want to be able to help people with the
Amen.
money coming in.
Amen.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to sit on $100 million and just go buy another big house. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to give 50 of that away and house 20,000 people. You know
Right.
what I mean? That kind of thing.
Kind of like
That's what I want to do.
like what Tupac was saying. You know, you got all these billionaires, and you know, and all these big churches with all this money, and there's hundreds of millions of dollar people that are homeless. You know, for me, if I was to get to that level where I can get that type of money, and I will, uh, you know, I will open up or buy property just to be able to put in those that can't afford, you know, food or anything like that. Or I'll build shelter
Right.
programs
Right.
to help, because I know what it is to not have. You know, I come
Yeah.
from, I came from that era where my parents struggled. Even though we did pretty good, because my father was always a businessman. You know,
Mhm.
we had bodegas, and you know, we lived okay. We wasn't rich or anything like that, but we didn't need anything. But
Mhm.
I grew up in a black neighborhood.
Mhm.
So when my friends used to come to my house, they used to say, "Oh man, you're rich," you know. But we was rich of love, you know, because my
Mhm.
mom, even though she didn't speak English, she understood it, and she treated all my black friends equal. Like I ate,
Mhm.
they all ate. They were poor, you know. They had less than we did, but you know, my mom has had such a great heart, and I got that from her. You know what I'm saying? Where you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
she didn't see, she saw every person the same, you know, and
Right.
that's why I admired her so much about her, that I used to go to school and people call colors, you know, and people, oh no, my mom ain't never taught me that. I didn't grow up
Mhm.
with racism in my house, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and I grew up with African Americans all my life. So those are my brothers and
Mhm.
sisters, right? So I know exactly what you mean, you know, to be able to help people that have less, and that's great, man. Because the more you do for those that got less, the more God will bless you.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. I've found that to be true, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the more you do to help people, the more you get in return. The more you give away, the more you get.
That's right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the selfish people that hold on to everything that
Mm-hmm.
they just miss out on the true meaning of life, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
and there's just so much that we have in this country. There's no reason for anybody to suffer the way some people do. You
Yeah.
know, and I just want to help with that, man. That's my one of my main missions in making all this stuff happen, and I really do believe that's why doors are opening now.
Amen. Yeah. Of course they are.
You
You know
know.
that, and it also gives you a platform to write more about what you see, you
Mhm.
know, and want to do.
Mhm.
And that's how we become creative in writing, because then you're going to start to write the things that people don't want to talk about, you know,
Right.
and then you put it into play, and those are the films that do well,
Mhm.
you know, those
Yeah,
are the films that
that's
do
true.
well, because
Yeah.
people can say, man, you know what? I've been there. I know what he's talking
Right.
about. I was there. That was me.
Right.
So, you
Right.
know,
Yeah. There's I'm working on a. It started out as a stage play. But now it's morphing into a screenplay,
mm,
and it's about the last 4 years of my mom
mm,
living with her and taking care of her.
wow.
And I call it my good best buddy because that's
uh,
what we used to tell each other we were.
wow.
You're my good best buddy, you know, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's coming together. It's taken me a while to do it because it's pretty poignant. But I
Mm.
let a friend of mine read some pages, and she broke down crying.
Yeah. My eyes are
And
watering. I haven't even read it.
I'll send you some pages, man. I'll get the email and send
yeah.
you some pages.
Yeah. I'll tell you,
But
man.
my friend broke down and she said, Dempsey, this is going to connect with a lot of people because
Yes.
a lot of people have gone through it,
Hmm.
you know. And
Yeah.
what you're writing, this scene, it was a dinner scene. We were at dining room table, and I was feeding her
Right.
hot dogs or chili dogs. She loved chili dogs.
Yeah.
And everything was going great. And then you know how it is because your mom had it. You know, they just snap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they get angry for no reason.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with her. She snapped, and then she regained herself and realized what she had done. And then she just walked over to my side of the table and put her arms around me like a little girl.
Yeah.
And she was hoping that I wasn't mad at her. You could see it in her eyes.
Wow, that's so sad. Yeah.
And I just reached out to her and I said, "Don't worry about it. You're still my best buddy."
Oh wow.
And she smiled and went back and started eating. You know, but my friend that read the pages, she's a writer too, and she was like, "Dempsey, this is really going to connect with a lot of people."
Yeah,
you know?
it definitely connect with me. You know, my mom, when she had it, you know, I walk in the door, she'll be like, "Who is it?" And she's looking, you know, through the peephole, and it's like, "It's me, it's your son," you know. And then she'll let me in. We'll have a conversation. All of a sudden, she'll switch the conversation and talk about something totally different, or she forget who I was. She'll be like, "Who are you again? What's your name?" You know, and I had to remind her who I was. And sometimes she didn't even know who I was, you know, and then, you know, she'll snap out of it. She'll come back around and, you know, I'll see a tear come out her eye, and that used to break me, you know, because I'm like, you know, she's crying because she's like, I know that's my son, but why can't I remember? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
exactly. And you know, they don't mean it when they get mad and throw things and all that kind of stuff. They don't mean it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and they just can't help it, you know. And then when they come out of it, they regret it, and it hurts them that they did it. And you just have to let them know it's okay.
Right.
It's all right.
Right.
You know, I'm tough. Go get something else and throw it at me. I'm all right.
Yeah, amen to that.
Know, just trying to make them laugh. My mom, I don't know if this happened with you and your mom, but my mom, one of the funniest things, and it's in the story too. Alzheimer's patients hide things, you know, and then they forget where they forget where they hit them. Right?
Yes, my mom was like that. Yes,
my mom would hide her pocketbook.
Yeah,
and there was nothing in it, you know, because I was paying all the bills and stuff. But anyway, she had it, and she would hide her pocketbook, and I knew her hiding places. And I swear to this is the honest to goodness truth. I went and got the pocketbook, and I said, "Here you go, Mom." And I think I'm the hero, right? I think, oh, she's gonna love me because I found a pocketbook. And my mom looked at me and she said, "You took my pocketbook. You just want to steal all my money so you can go out and date all those white girls."
Yeah, that is funny.
I laughed for half an hour, man. That cracked me up.
Yeah, they come up with, hey, you know what's funny, right? So at that time, I used to run the streets, right? When my mom was having that, and I used to have some gold grills. So I took my gold grills out of my mouth and I put them on top of my night table, you know, and I went to sleep.
Right.
And so I heard my door open at night, but I was so tired I didn't look to see who it was. It was my mom. So she had a tendency of going in my room and taking stuff from me, right? So in the morning I wake up, you know, I'm throwing on my jewelry and I go get my grills. I don't find my grills.
I don't know if you can hear me, but are you there?
Yeah, you. Hello? Go on. Go on and can you hear me? So I was looking for my girls, they were gone from the night table. So I asked my mom, you know, I was looking around them, and I remember that I heard the door open at night, and I said, it must have been Mom. So I went over and I said, Mom, you see my girls? She's like, no, you know. And so, she's sitting there looking out the window. She used to like the birds and feed the birds. And she's like, no, 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 I don't know about no girls. I said, okay. So now I'm scanning her room, looking around. And I see them. She put them.
Where?
She put them. She put my grills in the flour in her. She like the flour, cooking flour. She had them in there. I said, "What?" I said, What are my grills in the floor?" She said, "I don't know what grill. What are grills?" She,
funny.
yeah, she had put them at the flour. I was like, "Well, she gonna cook my grills?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's funny.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
So, okay,
Yeah,
so
little stuff like that keeps you going, though.
yeah, those are my memories of her. The good times, but
Right.
regardless of all this happening in your life with your mom and the things that struggles that you went to, what's actually your goal as far as what you're doing right now?
My ultimate goal with my work, like I said, is to do the foundation thing, but
Okay.
also just for me, for my namesake, I want my name branded with quality work. In other words, 1,000 years from now, I want people to see the name Dempsey Gibson come up and be like, I know this is going to be a good show.
Right.
I know this is going to be a good project. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sort of like, I want to be the Beatles and Beethoven
Right.
of writing and producing films and television. My partner says the same thing. Stands up for years and years and decades and millennia.
Yeah.
Where it just stands up and people are like, oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Like when you hear the name Spielberg, the movie's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Or you hear Spike Lee, it's gonna be a great movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are names that are associated and branded with quality.
Yes.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ice Cube.
Here's my $20.
Yeah. 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 I'm taking you to the Bay.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah. So my partner, she's a writer. She's amazing. That's just she thinks just like you. She said the same thing. She said, "I want whatever my name is branded. I'm not just gonna put anything out. It has to be right." And and I love that about her. And she's a phenomenal writer. So we had a few projects that we want to put out, but how everything else is, everything when it comes to budget, it's hard to always get the budget going. So we're in that status right now, but we're thinking of a plan B on how to get it flowing.
There's always a way.
Yes,
there's always a way.
That's right.
You just got to keep swinging and keep looking for it. But there's always a way to make these things happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you've got the passion, because I really believe God doesn't put it in your heart unless He's got a way for you to make it happen.
Exactly. Yes.
You just got to go find it.
Exactly. See, God is not going to put you in a place that you're not going to be able to handle it.
Right.
Or He puts you in a place to learn from it. Because maybe you are a little selfish or something. So He's going to say, let me put you in this position right quick for a little bit so you can man up and understand that what you're doing, it's wrong, or I'm going to put you here for a little bit and have you think about what you're doing. And I truly believe that.
That He's always there.
Yes, amen. Always there. Yes.
He's got your back.
Always.
Because there's an interesting story. When I first got to LA, like I told you, I'm from Minneapolis, 36,000 people.
Yeah.
I got out here and it was like, 100 billion people everywhere, and it freaked me out. And,
like, where am I?
This is the honest. Exactly, man. And I got off the 405 and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What am I doing? And I got to my hotel that first night. I'll never. This is not nothing honest. To my hotel. for the code on the elevator thing. There was a lady that said, how you do it. You know, she had to show me how to get on the elevator. That's how freaked out I was. And I got to my room, and I just, first thing I did was on my knees and pray, and I said, God, you got to help me get through this. It hit me how alone I was. Like, mom was gone, pop was gone. You know, all my family's like 3,000 miles east of me.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm by myself. And this calmness just came over me and spoke to me and said, look, just go to bed, wake up tomorrow. Don't even leave the room if you don't want to. Just chill. Just, you know, look at the city from the windows. Just chill. And by the end of the week, you'll be okay. And that's exactly what happened.
And that was God talking to you.
Yeah, because, and God also put me in that hotel at the time I was supposed to be there. And I'm telling you, this is the truth. If I had had 2 more hours of sunlight, I wouldn't have even gotten out of the car.
Wow.
That's how freaked out I was. I would have turned right around and went back to North Carolina. That's how scared I was. The only reason I didn't do it was because it had gotten dark when I got to the hotel, and I didn't know my way around. You know, that's the only reason I checked in that night.
You know, God works so precise, right? His preciseness with us is on point. You know, like you said, if there would have been 2 more hours of light, you would have went back.
Yeah,
you know,
turn right around.
And he knew that, and he knew that. So he said, "No, we're gonna have this. We're gonna keep it at night, so you can get this hotel, and in the morning you're gonna do what you came here to do." It's amazing how he works. It's just amazing how he works, and you know, you got to understand how he moves to understand how life is. You know,
that's the truth, and you have to recognize it, and then you have to appreciate it.
Yes, 100%.
You know, because a lot of people don't appreciate. I was like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Oh, you just got there when you got there, and I was like, no. It's all about how you perceive things in life that propel you even higher.
Right.
And I know that was God putting me where I was supposed to be at that exact same time. Because if I had turned around, none of this stuff would be happening.
Amen.
You know, I wouldn't be working with Denise Williams and had optioned a screenplay and then got a play produced. I mean, you know, Spaghetti came around. I was at a place in Venice Beach, and I got a call from my screenwriting partner. We wrote that together, the original script. And I hadn't really thought about it in a while because, you know, we wrote it in, gosh, I can't remember. I think it was 2019 when we wrote it.
Right.
And it didn't sell until like 2021, somewhere along in there. And so I wasn't even thinking about it. It was right after Christmas. And he called me out of the blue and said, hey, man, Spaghetti just sold to a production company in LA.
Really?
And he said, and it's going to get produced. And the guys at Skinfly Productions, they bought it. And they bought the script and they produced it. I mean, it got produced, and it's not only did it get produced and made and out there, it's running now on Apple TV and you know, other outlets like that. Yeah. Amazon. But there it was put into several film festivals, and it won like over 30 awards. And one of them was from the Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's stuff like that if you allow yourself to believe and you allow yourself to keep moving that forward path, things will open that you don't even remember or that you don't even see happening or you can't believe it happened. Like with Spaghetti, I wasn't even thinking about Spaghetti. And then all of a sudden I get this phone call and boom, you know, it's out there. And that was my first major credit, you know, on IMDb. That was the first big thing that I'd ever had a part of. And it was big, and it helped me, you know, gain some some notoriety and some clout out here. And another thing that has helped me in 2018, and I can send you this. I'll send it to you, show it to you. In 2018, I wrote a list of 7 things I wanted to have accomplished by 2020. I think I'm getting the dates right. And 6 of those things on that list came true. And one of them was move to LA, sell a screenplay, meet Mickey Dolenz. I actually had that on my list. And I found out watching Steve Harvey, that is biblical. It's in the Bible, Habakkuk 2:2, that you're supposed to write these things down.
Yes.
And then they will come to pass. It might take a while, but it will come to pass. And I wrote that down, and I had a specific date on when I wanted to have it happen. And everything on that list, 6 of the 7 things have happened. Wow. The only thing that hasn't happened yet was find an agent. Everything I've done on my own. I don't have an agent or a manager.
Yeah. And it will come, I don't have a manager either. I kind of do everything on my own, but and this, just like we was talking about, God works in a mysterious way. And I met you through Nicole. Nicole's she's my best friend, and things happen for a reason. You in LA. I don't know who you know in LA. I'm from the East Coast. But I know a lot of people in LA. I go to red carpets, luxury gala. I don't know if you know my good friend Samara. She does luxury galas every year at the Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills, and it's over 1,000 people that come to this event, from directors to movie stars to talk show hosts to singers come to this event.
Oh wow!
So
wow!
But look how God works. You met me. You met me.
Right.
Right. So in March, I believe it's March 2nd, she does her events at the Hilton Hotel. If you're not busy that day, you can probably come to that event, and I can introduce you to some of my people. Since you already live in LA, it'll be easier for you to connect with most of them because you're from LA, and which helps me in the long run, because if you connecting, then I'm connecting, through you, and so one hand always washes the other. I'm a true believer of that.
Exactly.
And I like to connect good people with good people.
And I'm the same way.
Right. And Samara, she's the one behind the scenes. She's the boss lady. She's the one that puts all this thing together. So she knows people. You know what I mean? So this is why I'm a true believer of what God's work.
Right. Right.
Because
I believe it too.
Right. If you didn't meet Nicole, you would have never met me.
Exactly. And that was just a chance meeting on Facebook.
Okay. Look at that.
I just wrote to her and said, I like your film. Or way to go on this project, something to that effect. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I can put you in touch with my friend. I was like, okay, great. And boom.
Yeah. See, like her and I did a film together. I was in one of her films, Desert Fiends, one of her first films. I'm in that film. And she's asked me to come on other projects with her, but because I'm from the East Coast, sometimes it's not that easy to just pick up and, go spend $2,000 or $3,000 to fly out for a film. So I missed out on a few films, which is fine because I've done some here in the East Coast. I've done like five movies already, but I could have had 10 done instead of 5. But everything happens for a reason,
Right.
Maybe because my time of acting, it's still there, but I also want to direct because I'm a creator, a film creator, right? I want to show the world my creativity that I have in my brain, and I want to bring it to
Mm-hmm.
life. That's why I connected with Denise, which is a writer, to be able to put
Mm-hmm.
these projects out, right? But we on a
Mm-hmm.
standstill. But if I get opportunities to get on other projects, if I can do it, I will. But my
Mm-hmm.
main goal right now is to put out these movies. I got a gangster movie that I wrote, and she's helping me break it down into script format.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah. So we writing that. We probably got like four other ones that are done that we're trying to get some funding for it and trying to find a way to put it out. But we're working on that. But
Well, anything I can do to help, man, just let me know.
yeah,
Anything I can
well,
do
well,
to
well, yeah. Well, the thing is
support.
that that I try to meet people. I try to do like private meetings so that we can sit down and everyone kind of talk and try to come up with with an idea on how we can do this because you might have something that we don't know, or we might tell you something that you didn't know that could help you out, and you might tell us something that can help us out. So I try to connect people with my team, and we conversate and say, hey, this is what we're doing. What do you think about it? You might have a different idea. Say, hey, well, use this strategy, or let me introduce you to these people. And that's
Right.
how networking starts, and family starts, and trust and loyalty. And you build a team.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. That's
so
exactly right. It's all about networking, man.
yes, and it's not what you know, it's who you know in this industry. So I've already known that.
Right. Who
It's-
you know, and to be prepared when they call.
yes,
You know what
yes.
I mean?
You got to stay working.
You got to be ready.
Yes,
Yeah.
you got to stay
James
working.
Brown said that in his book. I read his book in years ago,
Yeah.
and one of the things I took away from that was he said you always have to be ready when that knock comes on the door.
Yes,
You know, and
yes,
that's the hardest part about being an artist to me is a lot of times we feel like we're writing or singing or painting or whatever we're doing
right.
for nobody.
Hmm.
You know, because I'm sitting down and I'm writing 100 pages, and I don't even know if anybody's going to read it but me. But something is telling me to write it. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
And that's the hard part. But then you get rewarded with stuff like me being able to take it to Kevin and Kevin taking it to his mom. You
Yes.
know, I mean, he said, "Hey, I love this idea, man. Have you got your script ready?" And I had it ready.
Nice.
You know, and that was the thing. When I was writing it, I didn't have any prospects on anybody reading this thing,
Right.
but something said, "Have it ready." And then when somebody called, it was ready.
That's it.
You know,
That's it.
that's the thing for artists to remember is that we have to keep creating,
Yeah.
even when we don't think or don't know what's around the corner.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
you're right, uh, Dempsey. And I just want to say you in the right path. You have the right mindset to become a phenomenal director and writer. Um, but you know, like I said earlier, God works in mysterious way, and we met for a reason, not just for you to come
Mm-hmm.
on my show, but I got a lot of outlets. I know a lot of people. I've been doing this for almost 8 years. I've had plenty. I got over 1,000 interviews with people from all over the world, and I know people. So um, if you can come out for that gala in May, right? I think it's like 350 for the thing, right? For the table, but you
Mm-hmm.
have dinner. You get dinner. Dinner served. Wine is served at your table. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but there's people there that you want to know.
Right.
That
Right.
that, that you want to know because you in LA, and you have better access than I will to move around and to connect with these people. Where I'm from the East Coast, and when you get invited to come to LA to someone's house for dinner or for a Christmas party, they gotta like you. You know what I mean? They gotta like
Right.
you and they gotta take you seriously. And I've been offered that several times in LA where people say, come out here, even move out here. They want me to move out there because, they just like who I am and my personality and just my work ethic. But
Hmm.
if this can help you get better, then I think that this will be a good place for you to come and introduce yourself, introduce your work. There's going to be movie stars there that you're gonna be like, hey, ain't that this? I'm gonna be like, yeah. You be like, hey, ain't that this? I'm gonna be like, yeah. you know. You, so a good example. So when I went there last year, I walked in and I seen Earl Tunes, and
Oh.
yeah, and yo, this guy's down to earth and phenomenal guy, and he performed that night. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, he performed that night. So he's a friend of mine, which I met through
Hmm.
Samara. Um, and Edwin Baldwin, that actor,
Hmm.
he was there as
Hmm.
well. Um,
Oh, nice.
yeah. So I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want you to flip your lid, but but these people be in these events that I go to. Um, like Doug Jones, he played in Star Trek. Um,
Hmm.
he was there. I met him as well. Catherine, something's her last name. She played in a lot of films back in the '90s and stuff. She was
Hmm.
there as well. Phenomenal lady. Um,
Hmm.
so these are people that you can connect with and talk to if you got projects or you need actors for any of your projects, and you might say, "Hey, I think this person can play this role."
Hmm.
You would have them. You would have access to that.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity to network
Yeah,
for sure.
that's the place to be. So, when that time comes around, if, we keep in touch. I'll give you a heads
Yeah.
up. Say, hey, Gibson, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, it's going to be the gala. We might want to get our tickets, and then I will have to fly out there and meet you at the gala. Um,
All right. That sounds good, man.
you know,
Absolutely.
and
100%.
yeah, and I can introduce you to some people. I brought some people there that I from Canada that were friend of
Hmm.
mine's on my show, and I said, "Hey, meet me there," and they came there, and they've connected, and they're doing some big things on their own now.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. I love to hear that.
yeah, and
Those success stories where people help each other get to the next level.
yeah, and you know what? And I'll be like, sometimes I'll be like, man, I could have got that, but I start to think. I said, it's not my time, you know,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
sometimes you connect people that are under you, right? And
Right.
then you connect them, and they end up being more successful than you. But that doesn't mean anything because that all that means is it was their time. You know what I
Right.
mean? So why would you get mad? Is it was their time? When your time comes, then you're gonna blossom and grow. So I started to understand how God works sometimes, and
Hmm.
sometimes people to be successful have to go through you or through me
Hmm.
for their success of meeting the
Right.
people that we know, when we might say,
Right.
but damn, I could have took that opportunity for me to grow, right? But that's not in your lane. That's not your path. Your
Right.
you was in that person's path for their success, you know.
Hmm.
So they had to
Hmm.
come through you for you to introduce them to whoever for them to be successful. You was part of their life to be successful. You know what I mean? And
And in turn, they will help you at a certain point.
there you go. So
Yeah.
maybe even though you might be ahead of them and they under you, in God's plan, He's gonna say, okay, you're under Dempsey, but you're gonna be successful first. And with
Mm-hmm.
your success through Dempsey connecting you to these people, you're gonna come back and grab Dempsey and make him successful.
Right.
You see,
Right.
so you gotta sometimes understand how God works and do things and place things in different and place us in different places. And sometimes we be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, but it could have been me. Well, no, you can't think like that because you gotta think this happened because God put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
That's the truth. You can't get jealous
you can't
over other people's success because, and that's nowhere. That takes you nowhere. You
exactly,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I
You're right.
see you like to do horror and psychological thrillers. Have you ever thought of doing any like action films or paranormal films? Is that something in your agenda?
Uh, Not so much the paranormal or the action. I haven't really tried those. I've done comedy
Okay.
and drama type stuff,
Mm,
dramedy type stuff,
mm,
heartfelt stuff. I've done that. I haven't dipped into that pool though with the paranormal. I like paranormal stuff.
mm-hmm,
I don't know how good I would be at it
mm,
just because I've never tried it.
right.
And then the action stuff, um, I like watching action movies. You know, like
Mm-hmm,
I just saw Mission Impossible, the
mm-hmm.
last one,
Yeah,
and I thought that was pretty high energy, pretty cool.
yeah.
Um, again, I don't know how good I would be writing that stuff. I
But you're creative.
writing the stuff that I write, it's sort of like my wheelhouse. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
those are my strengths. I'm not saying that I would never try it, but
yeah.
I just haven't done it yet.
I
I
think you'll
haven't
be.
done
I
it yet.
think you'll be good at it. You know, when I say I'm a creator, right?
Hmm.
If you was to give me anything, you was to say to me, Vic, I want you to write about or tell a story about a guy that was found in the woods and he was stuck there and the animals were trying to attack him and eat him, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
just off that, I can create a whole story.
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
fiction,
Yeah.
I can add stuff because when it's fiction, you can add anything. So I can make anything out of that, what you just said,
Right.
to me.
Right.
And that's what's so beautiful about being a creator, uh, a film creator, that you can get a topic and turn it into a film.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
inspiration comes from anywhere.
yes.
Like I can just be sitting in a park and see something go on and get inspired there, or I can hear a song lyric
Hmm.
and get inspired. As a matter of fact, um, Purple Rain, what I wrote, the script I wrote, that came from listening to a song that I'd never heard by Prince.
Mm,
It was a song on the Rainbow Children album, which not too many people know that album.
mm,
Um, and my brother Timothy introduced me to that. I'd
mm.
never heard it before. And there's a song on there called "Last December," and the lyric in the song is, "If it was your last December, would anybody remember to remember you?"
Mm.
And that hit me hard, man. I don't know why that hit me so hard. That was like 8 years ago that I heard that, and it just knocked me down. And and listening to that song, I could see the ending of my movie.
Wow.
Hearing that song, I just saw it. I saw Craig. I saw the scene. I'm not going to tell you what the ending is because I
Yeah.
want people to go see it. But
Right.
but I saw the ending of that movie, and then it all just started to come together.
Mm,
And that was literally just from listening to that one song that my brother just had in his CD player, and he was like, "I mean, yeah, check this out," because he knew
mm,
he knows I'm a huge Prince fan.
yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, have you heard this?" And I was like, "No," and I heard that lyric, and man, it just blew me away.
Yeah. Prince, Prince was an amazing guy. One of the songs I used to like was he used to sing, and I keep wondering one magic candy bar. Remember that song?
Yeah, yeah. He was the man. I mean, I read today. Today is his birthday.
Yeah.
And I read that he played 27 instruments. I had no idea he played that many instruments.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, 27 instruments, wrote everything, produced everything. I mean, and the confidence that guy had at 18 years old going into Warner Brothers and telling them they had an offer on the table. We're going to pay you X amount of dollars to produce 3 albums, but we want Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire to produce it. And he said no.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Prince was 18 years old. Nobody knew Prince outside of the people in Minneapolis. And he said, no, I'm producing my own stuff and I'm playing everything on the record.
Wow.
And they said, okay, yeah. And, at that time, that was like 1978. Maurice White was the biggest player in the game. You get a guy from Earth, Wind, and Fire producing your song. That's automatic number one, because he was flying on September and all that stuff back then. Yeah. And Prince said, no, that's how much confidence he had in himself.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one of the things that I want to highlight or want to show in this film. I mean, a lot of people know how talented he was, but they don't know what a good brother he was too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would pay the electric bill for people in Minneapolis that couldn't afford their electric bill in the wintertime. And he never once, while he was alive, took credit for that.
Yeah.
He never once let anybody know it was him.
Wow. And
paying those bills.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, we live in a country where no one should be able to be suffering for anything or, live on the street, homeless or be hungry. We're supposed to be living in the best country in the world, and it don't even look that. It feels like we are a third world country at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there are people talking about, ICE raids and stuff going on in LA today.
And here too.
They're out fighting ICE now. It's like these people at ICE are like the modern day Gestapo, man. They come out of nowhere and just say, "We're taking you,"
Yeah, that's not happening.
And it's insane, man. It's insane. They're talking about it, enacting martial law in some cities, and it's just crazy. Yeah. What's going on?
But these are things that you and I and others can write about. These are stories, and things that we can always create stories and talk about it. And put it in film. I think that the talent you talented not just through writing but also music. I did that's how I started with music first. And then I left the music alone back in the 80s, and then I got into the filming later in my career. I did the podcasting first, and then I got into the filming like in my late 40s. So it's never too late to do what you want.
Man, it's never too late. It's never too late.
And like you said earlier, you accomplished a lot of stuff that you written down. I accomplished a lot of stuff that I wanted to do as a kid, watching TV, watching Tom Arnold as a comedian, watching him growing up and watching Bei Ling in the movie The Crow and saying, man, one day I'm going to be a star like that. And going to Las Vegas to work with Nicole, I accomplished that. Not with just one superstar, but like 8 superstars in one film. You see what I'm saying?
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
Todd Bridges, I can name a whole lot of them that were there in this film. And I got to meet several of them and, awesome, great people.
Right.
I got to accomplish it because it was a dream. And I stuck to the industry to make it happen. and
Mm-hmm.
I work very hard on my podcast to get to the level, to get to the people that were connected to them or knew them or worked with them, and
Right.
I work my way up to having those people come on my show and like my personality, like my vibe, and
Mm-hmm.
ask me to come out and be a part of their projects. And I'm grateful and honored. And it's coming from where I come from or where we come from. Not too many people
Mm-hmm.
can say that. Um,
Right.
and be in our shoes, even if we're successful or not. Not anyone on your block or on your neighborhood can say, hey, I've been with such and such. I did a movie with such and such, or I took a picture with such and such.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too many people can say that. So that's hard work.
It is very hard work. When I first got to LA, one of the things I used to do was background work.
Mm.
I got a lot of background work, and some people put that down as like, oh, that's nothing important. And I'm like, no, that's acting. You're getting paid to
Yes.
act.
Yeah.
You are a professional actor at that point.
Yes.
Again, like we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
it's all in perception.
That's right.
And so when I'm getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to make it to set by 5 because I got a 6 o'clock call time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a professional actor, dude. I'm getting paid to do that.
Right.
And so one of the first things that it wasn't one of the first things, but it was one of the most memorable. A lot of times when you do the background stuff, you don't know what film you're going to be on.
Exactly.
Because they give you these code names and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I showed up, and all I knew was I was supposed to dress like it was wintertime and show up at this. It was supposed to be an airport where we were. So they said, bring luggage if you have it, and dress in, like overcoats and turtleneck sweaters and all that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So, and it's summertime in LA. I think we did this in June in LA. Right. And it was downtown, downtown LA where we're supposed to be in it. And the place we were at was supposed to be this airport terminal. And so all of us are sweating to death. And they got all this fake snow and everything around, and we're all in all these overcoats and winter wear, and we're free. We're supposed to look like we're freezing, but we're actually melting. and this was when you still had to wear masks, for the COVID. You still had to wear masks on the set. So in between shots, you had to wear. Yeah. So everybody had a white mask. And I had a purple one just to be different because I like to be different, so I had a purple mask on. Everybody else had a white one. And sure enough, one of the assistants saw me, and he called me over. He said, "Hey, purple mask, come here." And I was like, okay. And I walked over, and he said, I want you to walk past this guy. There's going to be a lady that comes out, and when she comes out, Eddie is going to walk in front of you, and you walk behind Eddie. And I was like, okay, Eddie who? And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he turned to his left, and to his right. And I turned to my left, and he said, Eddie Murphy. And I looked, and there was Eddie Murphy. And I was on the set of Beverly Hills Cop, the new one. Wow. The latest one. Yeah. And there was Eddie Murphy it was Axel Foley, Eddie Murphy, in the jacket and everything.
Yeah, Axel Foley.
Right. And we were supposed to be in Detroit, and it was a scene where he's saying goodbye to his buddy in Detroit, and it's supposed to be wintertime, and sure enough, Eddie Murphy walked right in front of me, right past me, and I walked right behind him, and I'm like, the first thing I did was I got on the phone, during break, and I called my brother, and I was like, man. You remember when we were kids and we were listening to Ice Cream Man? I'm like, well, guess who I just worked with? And just it blew me. And like you're doing those background jobs, you don't make a lot of money. People think you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. You're making $150 a day or whatever it is. Yeah. But just like you just said, I did that. Nobody can ever take that away from me. I came out here. I was on set with Eddie Murphy, and I was in that movie.
Right.
You know,
regardless of you shining or not, you was there with him, and can no one take that from you or ever say or match that? Like who? You know. So
right.
You know. So you being there says so much. You know, your hard work got you there, regardless of you having a main role or not a main role. You got a background role, but you was there. So you put yourself, you got yourself there, and so that's the hard work that people don't see. You know, the struggle that you had to go through to get to that position, regardless of you getting a second of camera, 2 second, 5 minutes on a camera, but you on that film. Right.
Yeah, that's the major thing. You have to put yourself in that position.
Exactly.
To try and get something to go, and you got to put yourself in a position where things could. My stepfather used to tell me that when I was a kid all the time, and I wish I had listened to him earlier. But you know, like we said, everything's about timing. It wasn't meant for me to hear it then. But he told me a long time ago, and this was when I was still in music. He was saying, you know, Dempsey, you're doing okay here, but you're never going to get anywhere here because what you want isn't here. It's not in Kannapolis. It's in New York and LA, and you know, that's where you need to be. If you want to, you got to put yourself where it's happening.
Exactly.
You know,
sacrifice. I say it all the time on my show. I tell my viewers and, you know, even some guests that, you know, sometimes you have to sacrifice things in your life to go to where you need to be to make yourself successful. And it's not easy. You know, it's not easy because right now everything is going crazy with this country. But you know, how bad do you want it? You know, how, and are you willing to put in the work to be that person? You know, and I say it to myself too. You know, I know that I need to be in LA or Las Vegas because that's where my people are at. Right? That's where everything. And if I was to be there now, I know that I will be in a better place as an actor, maybe as a talk show host. Maybe my show can go on air in LA because of the people that I know that can put me in place. You know, because here in Boston, where I'm at, I don't deal with anybody. You know, I do my own thing here in Boston. There's too much competition, not competition, but you know how we call it hate, because a lot of people see me, they see what I'm doing, and because they don't want me to move forward or, you know, whatever the case may be, they don't give you the opportunity. So I have to leave my own city to go somewhere and make it big, and then come here and get the love. It's weird, but that's sometimes that's how it works. You know, you're in your hometown. Nobody wants to show you love. Nobody want to work with you. Nobody believes in you. You go to LA, you become successful, and now the people that in your town are watching you in LA be big. And then when you come home, all of a sudden everybody wants to be in Dempsey side. Everybody say, "Hey, you come."
You know, that's true. That's true. But you know, I've been lucky. I've been really lucky to that point, though, honestly, because I have a lot of good friends in Kannapolis that have been with me since I was in high school, man. Just saying, you are going to do it. I believe in you. I mean, I could name one of my teachers, Jerry Ward. She contacted me a couple of weeks ago and just said, you know, how proud she was of me. And this is a woman that has known me since I was 17. You know, Susan Corrier, Tina Barbie, Kathy. I mean, I could just name people on and on and on that have all been in my corner. But but to your point, though, there are some snakes in that jar too, because I found out, this is no joke, man. When I first got to LA, when I was coming out here, a buddy of mine called me when I got here, And he said, Dempsey, I didn't want to tell you this until you got to LA and you got established somewhat. Yeah. He was probably told me about, 2 weeks after I got here. He said, but there were some people that that you consider friends that were actually taking bets on what state you would turn around and come home in.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the beauty part, though, bruh. Those people that said that don't know that I know who they are.
Oh, my God.
So I'm just waiting, and a couple of them have reached out to me. Yeah, and been like, oh, man, you're so, I always knew you could do it. And I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, get them all.
But yeah, there were some people that actually took bets that were betting on me in which he's going to turn around in Tennessee. Oh, wow. He won't make it past New Mexico. He'll turn around in New Mexico. Wow. That kind of thing. Yeah.
It's good to have a party and bring those people along, all of them, and just remind them later. Say, hey, remember when you said I wasn't amounting to nothing? I would be back by what? But Tennessee, well, I'm still in LA, and look at me now. You're actually at my house at my party.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm just glad they lost some money.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they were betting, he's going to turn around in Tennessee, and I didn't, and so they lost some money. They lost that $20 or whatever it was. Yeah. But it just kind of blew my mind because it wasn't a whole lot of people. It was like 4 or 5 people, but still, those were 4 or 5 people that I thought were friends of mine.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
but those 4 or 5. They don't mean anything to me at this point because they're 35 people that were on my side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There were 35 people that said he's not going to turn around. I believe he's going to make it. Right. I believe Dempsey. I've known him since he was 17. He's going to do this, Yeah. So I think that's a blessing. I think that's God's way of letting me know who not to invite to the party.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And
because
what? Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go.
I was just going to say, because I'm the kind of guy that once you make it, you want to invite everybody.
Yes. Me too.
To the party. You want to give them all a piece of the pie.
Because you want to think that everybody's your friend.
Exactly. And then I found out those not. 4 or 5 aren't.
It's
right.
Because we're good-hearted people.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that everybody that is around us is our friend because we are truly their friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we think the same of them, but they're really not. A lot of them are not there. They just want to see your downfall or see what they can gain from you. And what we got to remember, what for me, I'm 55. I've seen a lot in my lifetime. I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure out how God works with me, right? And what stuff he tries to show me, and when he's showing me something, and when I need to be paying attention. So, there's always going to be snakes in the grass. And I show love to the ones that hate me just the same as the ones that love me, right? Because I'm built that way, and I kill them with kindness. But at the same time, you have to keep them away because of the energy. Bad energy doesn't connect with good energy, So you got to eventually start staying away from those people, and then they'd be like, "Oh, Dempsey think he's better than us. He don't call us no more. He think he's, because he's no. That's not even the issue. The issue is that you have bad energy. You smile in my face, but you're really not happy for me."
Exactly. Exactly. And that dark energy can pull you down.
Yes. But people don't understand. Those same people don't understand why you cutting them off, because they're not aware that that it's all fake love. So, and on top of that, they fight with you for the fact that, no, I'm real. Like, you my man. You like, I'm here for you. No, you're not. You're not. Exactly. You're actually jealous that you're not in my position.
Right.
So.
Right. I mean, people bet against me.
Yeah, that's insane.
You know,
That's insane,
I mean,
bro.
Taking bets on what state I would turn around in, that still blows my mind. But you know what? I'm going to use that in one of my scripts. I'm going to use it in something. I'll use it in something.
Yeah, and make sure they watch it. Make sure they watch it so they can be like, "What was he?" They're going to hit the other person, but like, "You think he was talking about us?"
Do you think he knows?
Yeah, you think he knows? Yeah, that's going to be funny.
Yep, I know.
I would die. I would die. So let me ask you this: do you have any of your films that you have put out, and where can people find it? Where can they log into to what platforms can they log in to watch any of your past projects?
You can watch Spaghetti on Amazon, and I think it's on Hulu. I'm not sure about that, but you could just look it up, and that's out. And then you can also you can look and see what I've got coming up. Okay. And you can find me on IMDb for that. Right. You know, just put in my name. If you do just a Google search of my name, Dempsey Gibson, and put IMDb beside it, it'll take you right to the page.
Exactly. I've done that, but I was just saying it for my viewers that are watching.
Yeah. The Hulu, I mean not Hulu, but Amazon and Apple TV would be the quickest way to see Spaghetti. That's where that's at.
And you co-wrote that, right?
What's that? Oh, I co-wrote the original script.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then they bought it, and you know, I mean, whenever somebody buys it, they always change stuff. But yeah, I co-wrote the original script, and I've got a screen credit, and you know, the whole thing.
Cool. Well, you know.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I feel like I've known you forever just by the vibes that I get from you. And I know you're a great guy. I don't even have to be there. I can just feel it. So what I'm
Same here, man.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep in contact with you.
Okay.
And I would want you to come to the red carpet with me in March, so I can introduce you to some of my good friends out in LA, and maybe that can help also with your career to boost where it is that you're trying to take it. I'll introduce you to Samira. Samira knows everybody in Hollywood.
Sounds good to me, man.
Today she was at the Tyson house with the owners that bought it. Which I was like, "What are you doing at the Tyson house?" She was like, "My friends bought it." So she she knows people.
Right.
So I want to do that. I want to be able to help you that way.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
my people, because I know you're from. I don't know what part of LA you're at, but
I'm in Inglewood right now.
Inglewood. It sounds like LA to me. Everything is LA to me. But you know, I know that it's in Beverly Hills, the Hilton Hotel, on March 2nd. That's when she throws her luxury gala, red carpet event. But I will send you flyers and stuff when that's coming. And then we'll go from there.
All right, sounds great, man. Sounds great. Well, it was great talking to you. I really appreciate you having me on your show.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'll probably bring you back because I want people to see who you are. In a few years, you know, something's wrong with my system. I don't know. I gotta figure it out. But then I'll bring you back, even if it's briefly, just so people know who you put the face behind the name, and we could talk about some other things. And then if you want, I can also recommend you to other shows, other friends of mine that have podcasts, so you can.
Absolutely, I love that, and I appreciate that. Yeah,
cool,
sure,
awesome. All right, so you know, Dempsey, you have a good night. Thank you for coming on the show. I apologize for the for what's going on here with the system. I have no idea, but we'll fix that. And I wish you the best. I'm definitely going to see you soon in LA, and I wish you the best.
I appreciate it, man. Same to you. Thanks so much. I appreciate you and your audience and for listening. And I'll talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Okay, man. Take care.
All right, you too. Ciao. Yes, sir. That was Dempsey Gibson, actor, yes, and director out of Los Angeles. And I was trying to get him on the show, folks, and I apologize for that. Something wrong with my system. I couldn't get him on there, but we're definitely going to bring him back. You know, once I figure out what's wrong with my system, and we can bring him on the show. You guys can talk to him, ask him any questions that you might have. But I want to thank you for tuning in, staying here with me through this interview on the phone. I want to thank YouTube for watching, Facebook for watching. I'll see you guys soon on my next interview. You guys have a good Saturday. Have a good night. And I'll see you soon. I'm going to let y'all go with peace, love, respect. Y'all know the vibes. I'm out of here.